All right, we're joined now by the brand new Alamogordo boys basketball head coach, Brian Schock. Coach, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the air today.
Well, really appreciate having you on. And, for folks that don't know a whole lot about you or your family, the Schock family is synonymous, I feel like, with basketball in the state of New Mexico and certainly in your community of Cliff. Tell us a little about, your family and obviously the coaching history in Cliff.
Well, it started way back in the in the 20s and in the 30s. My grandfather, he came from Indiana and came out west to Western New Mexico University there in Silver City, New Mexico, and he played basketball there. He played football there, and then whenever they opened up the high school in Cliff, New Mexico, he took over as basketball coach, and he stayed there for over 40 years, and obviously, there's a lot of history there. My father, Pete, he played for my grandfather, Dale, and my dad, he started out, his career playing basketball at Western New Mexico. He played there with one of Alamogordo's own, Lawrence Johnson. So we've got family ties to Alamogordo with Mr. Johnson, and after that, my father, he went to Silver, and he coached there for 6 years, and then went to Cliff whenever that job opened up, and of course I played for him, and I coached 2 stints at Cliff. I actually coached whenever I was attending college there in Western, and whenever I graduated, I ended up moving on and moved to the Four Corners and spent 9 years up there coaching in the 5A ranks. And whenever a teaching job came open, I jumped on it to go back home, and it's been a good 4 years, here, coming back to Cliff. But it's kind of time to move on, and I was really intrigued by the Alamogordo deal. And Mr. Perry, I was really excited with his vision of the athletic program, and I can really identify with the climate and culture that you guys have going on there. So there's definitely a long history and a love of basketball and the game, and we're excited and ready to come over there.
Well, and you talked about climate and culture. For those of us on the outside that have never lived in the community of Cliff, what does basketball or high school basketball mean to that community? Can you describe it?
There's been a lot of pride, a lot of longtime fans that really care about the game, and I tell the kids every time we put the jersey on, let's represent and play hard and get after it, and it's really not about winning championships. It's my philosophy is to play your absolute best. That's what I feel is my job as a coach, is to take whatever group of kids, your 14 guys, and figure out what style of play is going to fit those kids offensively and defensively, and try to maximize that potential and get every ounce out of them. And I tell the kids, if we get our best and if we reach our peak, we're going to like the results of that.
How would you say, obviously playing for your dad, and then I'm sure coaching with your dad, how much has he influenced your coaching style? Is it, you almost the same, or are you two different styles when you look at how you guys do things?
Well, I'll tell you this, what I've learned from my dad, obviously he's a great basketball coach. I would say that he's a better poker player and card player than he is a basketball coach. And I think those two things go hand in hand. He's done a great job of how to take the kids that you've got and maximize what you're trying to do. And I think that goes hand in hand with if you're the analogy of a poker game. You can't change what cards you're dealt, and I think that's really the true challenge for any high school coach compared to like a college program. You have the kids that you have, and I've learned that by watching him, take those kids and try to take those kids as far as he can. So I think a lot of it comes down to the motivation and, getting everybody on the same page with a united goal and trying to, go after that and achieve it.
And just going back a little bit, I mean, obviously with your family having such a coaching lineage, was that something automatically you knew coming out of high school or in college that you wanted to do, or did you just kind of fall into it? How would you describe that?
Well, I made my run, trying to play college basketball. I went the junior college route and went to Arizona, and, I transferred back home to Western after my freshman year, and I just started helping out and, coaching the JV here while I was attending school. And I really liked it. I liked the X's and O's and the chess game, and I really enjoy that. So I graduated from college with 4 years of coaching experience. And, I was fortunate. I was kind of blessed to be in that situation, and then, coming out of college, I moved on to the Four Corners, and I started in Aztec, and was a pretty young head coach at 22 years old, taking over a 4A, 5A program.
Yeah, that's definitely a daunting task, and I think that's something else that, I'm sure some people see that, you're coming from Cliff, which is a 1A school, but you've had experience and you coached and were very successful up at Piedra Vista and up at the Four Corners area. So this really isn't going to be too tough of a transition. It'll be different, but, you've obviously had the experience of coaching at big schools, right?
Yes, sure. The Four Corners, I mean, that was a dynamite district to be a part of, where you're playing at Shiprock, and their gym holds 5,500 people, and Kirtland Central holds 4,500 people, and you go to Piedra Vista Farmington games were just off the wall, so I cut my teeth in coaching in that district, and it's kind of like straight into the fire right out of college, and I enjoy the big schools, and I still talk and communicate with a lot of the 5A coaches, and I've got a lot of close friends in this classification. So, I've already been talking to those guys, and we're back on opposing benches.
So yeah, it's going to be obviously friendly, but certainly some competition in there, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure, definitely. Yeah, it's I've been talking with Britt Cooper, texting with him a little bit, and I've got much respect for what he's built. There in Roswell, and they've been very, very good.
Yeah, certainly some quality programs in 5A, and it's something, obviously, it's a transition for Alamogordo moving to 5A, and some teams that obviously we've seen plenty over the years, but to be competing with them for state titles will be interesting to watch. What would you describe as the main difference? Is it in coaching 5A, bigger schools to small schools? Is it just having a little bit more resources, a little more kids of the pool to pull from? Is that kind of the big difference for you?
So I would say that there's more resources to pull from. There's more athleticism. But you've just got to get it all directed in the same, going in the same direction. Where by March, that you're trying to peak at the right time. The small schools, I guess it's more of a more private, intimate environment, where there's not as much going on. There's fewer sports and whatever, so, but I really feel like Alamogordo, that was a big draw for me, was seeing, the other coaches, and everybody seems aligned and, wants to help each other out, and I think it can be a very successful, overall athletic program.
Well, and you mentioned that, and obviously from the outside when you saw the position open up, I mean, what was it about Alamogordo that maybe, say, some other school, instead of some other schools, that made you interested in coming to this community?
I know that I played in the 90s, and I saw that genuine love, the basketball, back then, we came over and played in team camps and whatever. I remember being a sophomore going against, Scotty Hawley and those guys, and, I really feel like it's a good opportunity, as far as a basketball position in the town, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
For someone who maybe hasn't seen one of your teams play, how would you describe the style of basketball that your teams play, or at least at Cliff over the last few years?
The first year that I was in as a head coach, we pressed extremely hard. We got up and down. We scored a lot of points. We had several games, over 100. The last couple years, we've had Holt Shelley. He's now 6'9", 230 pounds. Guy that can post up or also pop out and shoot the ball on the wing. So we had to scale the defense back a little bit, just to maximize his amount of time on the court. And I think that goes back to my comment about learning from my dad. You play the hand that you're dealt, and I think you've got to have a style that fits the kids that you've got. And I know that Alamogordo has great athletes. I think an up-tempo, high-pressure defense, a lot of volume possessions, I really feel like that's going to be a big part of our game.
What do you expect? What do you ask out of your players that, over the years you've coached them? What are you looking for from your kids on a daily basis when it comes to competing on the basketball team?
I would say your best. No matter what. If it's practice, if you're in the weight room, on the floor, on game night, all we're looking for is your best effort and maximizing your effort for whatever that job is. I think that, doing your job every possession, if you're on the ball, then you're doing your job, that possession on the ball. If you're in help defense, you're doing your job. If, you're setting the screen, set the best screen that you can set. So, I would say just what I expect is do your best all the time, and, we'll live with the results. And, usually if you are doing your best and maximizing effort, then, things come out, pretty well in the end.
Obviously, you just accepted the job not too long ago, so, you're making plans. Obviously, you're wrapping things up there in Cliff. But, in terms of things that are spinning around in your head when you think of summer programs and the kids in the off-season, what kind of things do you like to do to help get the kids ready for the start of the season?
Well, you need a combination of playing. Kids need the summer, you need the freedom of playing, but you need, drill work, you need skill development. It's kind of a combination of everything. I think building team chemistry is vital in the off season. Setting your goals, what you're wanting to accomplish, within the next year, and just kind of getting everybody on the same page and going in the same direction. And you kind of paint the picture of where you want to be in 9 months.
All right. Well, Coach, I'll tell you what, just from the reaction that we've gotten from, the story we posted on our Facebook page and just from other people I've talked to, I think a lot of people are really excited about what you're going to bring to Alamogordo Tiger basketball, and I think everyone is real excited to see what you can do come the fall. It's a shame we've got to wait, 6 months or 7 months until the start of the season, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. We're, it's exciting, and, always this time of year you start looking forward and, getting ready and preparing for the season. So, yes, we are. Me and my family are very excited.
Well, Coach, we're excited to have you guys in the community, and really appreciate your time, and we look forward to talking to you again down the line.
Okay, thank you very much.